Hello and welcome to What Happened This Weekend in MMA. I am your host, Matthew Mitchum, and on today's show, we'll be covering this past weekend's fights that took place in the UFC Apex, headlined by Holly Holm versus Mayra Bueno Silva. And we've also got three more fighters that we think that you should be taking a look at when it comes to UFC card investing. And lastly, we will be going over this upcoming weekend's fights taking place in London, headlined by Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. We're going to go over the main card, and then we're going to get Mystic Matt here on the show to give us his three-leg of the week, his underdog of the week, and his prop of the week. The results from this past weekend's UFC Vegas 77 or UFC on ESPN 49, where Mayra Bueno Silva submits Holly Holm in the second round with a standing ninja choke as Holly Holm was going for the takedown. In the co-main event, Jack Della Maddalena took on late notice replacement Basil Hafez, which turned out to be fight of the night, as many people thought this was an absolute squash match for Jack Della, but Hafez was more than game for the scrap, as the fight did go the distance, resulting in a somewhat controversial split decision for the Aussie Jack Della Maddalena. In the feature fight of the night, 21-year-old Argentinian Francisco Prado dropped Ottoman Azatar with a spinning elbow, then finished him off with some ground and pound. And if we're going to be honest, referee Chris Tione could have got in there a little bit sooner, as he basically let Ottoman Azatar get pounded back into consciousness and start to kick Francisco Prado off before he stopped it. The Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park, submits Albert Duraev in the second round with a rear naked choke, and then went on to show off some sick dance moves. In the Norma Dumont versus Chelsea Chandler fight, we had one of the most memeable moments in recent MMA history, as in the first round, Norma Dumont hit Chelsea Chandler with a counter, in which Chelsea Chandler responded by literally turning her back and running an Olympic-level sprint across the octagon. Norma Dumont would go on to win that fight via unanimous decision. The Black Wolf Nazim Sadykhov submits T-Rex Terrence McKinney in the second round via rear naked choke, and I've got to be honest, I'm starting to feel bad for T-Rex because I'm really a fan. He's so athletic, but he seems like he only has about one round to use it. And the only finish on the prelims this week was in the Estela Nunez versus Victoria Dudakova fight, in which Victoria Dudakova went for a takedown and Estela Nunez planted on her arm. Nunez's elbow immediately dislocated in a pretty gruesome injury, and in the post-fight interview, Dudakova didn't seem one bit sorry or wish her well. She seemed kind of smug about the whole thing, but if I'm going to be honest, Russians do tend to be pretty cold, straightforward people. Moving on to three fighters that we think that you should be keeping your eye on when it comes to UFC card investing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the name of the fighter, the rookie card year, and why I personally think that you should be buying these cards. So up first, number one spot this week, we've got Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's rookie card set is last year 2022 Panini, and the reason that I think that you should be buying Tom Aspinall cards is his price has really dropped after the injury he suffered against Curtis Blades, and a healthy Tom Aspinall is one of the biggest and most athletic heavyweights in the UFC, and being 30 years old, mark my words, this man will be champion one day. At the number two spot this week, we've got the prospect, Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood's rookie card set is going to be 2021 Panini. And the reason why I think that you should be buying Nathaniel Wood is he is just entering the prime of his career. And before his last injury, Nathaniel Wood was looking like his name implies, one of the biggest prospects coming out of the UK. And just ask Michael Bisping, this kid is something to watch out for. And number 3 this week, we are going with a miracle, Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy's rookie card set is going to be 2022 Panini. And the reason why I think Lerone Murphy is a good buy this week is for some reason, he's still relatively unknown. Lerone Murphy is still undefeated, 12-0-1, and another prospect coming out of the UK and 31 years old, so he is also entering his prime. Lerone, for the most part, has been impressive in the majority of his fights, and I think that he's definitely someone that you should take a look at buying, being that his cards are still right now very, very cheap. And lastly, this upcoming weekend, the UFC will be taking the show on the road to London, where headlining the O2 Arena, we will have Tom Aspinall taking on Marcin Tybura. In the co-main event, we've got spinning back elbow specialist Meatball Molly McCann taking on armbar specialist Julia Stolyarenko. We've also got Nathaniel the Prospect Wood taking on Andre Touchy-Feely. A guaranteed jiu-jitsu match as the Bear Jew Paul Craig is going to be taking on Andre Muniz. The Black Country banger Jai Herbert is going to be taking on France's own Smile Killer in Faras Ziam. And opening the main card, we've got the Miracle, Lerone Murphy taking on Josh Kulabau. And now let's welcome our weekly guest to the show, Mystic Matt, for him to give us his plays for the week. Mystic Matt, welcome back. I hope all is well, but it's looking like there's no gold chain around your neck this week, man.
Hey, Matthew. Yeah, clearly no cheddar chain this week. This past weekend was clearly not my weekend of betting, if you will. I ended up not winning anything at all, but I went into this past weekend fully knowing it wasn't the highest level of fights, and it was a risky card to be betting on. But this weekend, I'm hoping that we can come back strong and have some sick plays for y'all this week.
That sounds like a plan, so let's do just that. Mystic Matt, what do you have for your plays this week?
For sure, for sure. We're trying to come back strong this week. And you know how I do it. We start off with the 3-leg, but the 3-leg is not a 3-leg this week. The 3-leg is a 4-leg this week. And leg number 1 on that 4-leg is going to be Nathaniel, the Prospect Wood. As you said earlier, Nathaniel Wood is one of the top prospects coming out of the UK. He's a bit of a favorite this weekend, but I believe that he gets the dub over Andre Touchy-Feely. For leg number 2, give me Andre Muniz to get the dub over Paul Craig. Truly, Paul Craig's decision making isn't the best, and if I'm going to be honest, his striking's pretty terrible. This is going to be his first fight down at 185, so I guess we'll see how he does there. But Andre Muniz has been improving on the feet, and he already has the superior jiu-jitsu. So give me Andre Muniz to get the dub over the Bear Jew Paul Craig this weekend for leg number 2. And for leg number 3 this week, we have another UK prospect in Lerone Murphy to get the dub. Kulabau is honestly pretty good, but in my opinion, he gets hit just a little bit too much. Give me Lerone Murphy to put him and the judges on notice with his power. Maybe knockout, but probably a decision win. But Lerone Murphy gets the dub this weekend. And our special this week, leg number 4, is going to be Tom Aspinall to beat Marcin Tybura. Honestly, Tom Aspinall is better everywhere. Striking, grappling, wrestling, it doesn't matter. Outside of another Tom Aspinall injury, Tom Aspinall should roll over Marcin Tybura this weekend with ease. So that is leg number 4 on our 4-leg this week.
He is giving us an extra leg this week. Shout out, Mystic Matt. What do you have for your underdog this week?
Well, Matthew, as I said, again, I'm fired up trying to bring the extra heat this week. So not only am I going to bring you one underdog, I'm going to give you 2 underdogs that I think have a really good chance at hitting this week. Underdog number 1 this week is going to be Mark DeCasey over Joel Alvarez, which kind of hurts me to say because I'm a huge Joel Alvarez fan. But if I'm going to be honest, probably has the worst takedown defense in the division. Even though he's huge, I feel like he should do all right. But people have been calling Mark DeCasey D1 DeCasey because of the wrestling clinic that he's been able to put on his opponents. So as an underdog this week, I like Mark DeCasey to just put on a wrestling clinic over one of my favorites, Joel Alvarez. I'm going to be rooting Joel Alvarez, but if I'm going to be honest, my bet money goes Mark DeCasey, just wrestling clinic. And dog number 2 this week is going to be Jai Herbert over Fares ZM. Honestly, I expect this line to flip pretty soon. Right now, Jai Herbert's only a slight underdog, but truly, Fares ZM isn't good. He's been cut from the UFC before, and now UFC just kind of brings him in on these European cards to get completely mollywopped. Jai Herbert should get the dub this weekend over Fares ZM.
An extra leg on the parlay this week and 2 underdogs. Mystic Matt is for sure bringing the heat this week, trying to get last week back. Mystic Matt, what do you have for your prop this week?
I do have a prop this week, Matthew. I can't imagine it's going to open at anything good, but Tom Aspinall by finish. Tom Aspinall inside the distance. Aspinall is truly the bigger, more athletic man, so I do expect him to roll through Marcin Tybura. But if you ask me in specific, what is the Mystic Matt prediction, exactly how it's going to happen, give me Tom Aspinall via submission this week.
That sounds good, Mystic Matt. You know, as always, I am riding with you. But we appreciate you for stopping by here, as always. Is there anything that you want to let the people know before you get out of here?
Yes, Matthew, as always, thank you very much for just allowing me to come on here, share my thoughts with you. But I'm actually surprised that you didn't say something about it earlier in the show that Jamal Hill vacated his light heavyweight title due to an injury. In my opinion, it's because none other than Yuri Prochazka. It's his destiny to be nothing more than the champion. But aside from that, just do me a favor, check out the Golden Octagon MMA podcast every UFC fight week on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and my friend D Rose get on here, chat it up, have a great time. We got a good little chat community going. It's truly a blast. And I open UFC cards every single Friday now. So if you guys are interested in that, come by, check it out. But with that being said, once again, thank you very much for having me on here, man.
Indeed, Mystic Matt. Well, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for sharing your plays with us. Hopefully the people appreciate them as well. But you heard the man, the Golden Octagon MMA podcast, every UFC fight week Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You should check it out. But that's going to be all from us here on this week of what happened this weekend in MMA. I am your host, Matthew Mitchum. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out if you haven't already. We'll catch you right back here next week. Have a good night.